how to have a flat belly fast. So I received this question on Instagram, and believe it or not, you can see a difference fast with some of these tips that I'm going to give you. And then others are going to take some time. They all work together. Others are going to take a little more time, and together they're going to really compound. As I always say, it's the small actions done consistently that compound over time to yield amazing results. So I'm going to share my top 5 tips for a flat belly and kind of share which of these are going to give you the fastest results. But again, you really want to be making sure you're doing all of these because they do indeed work together. Now, the first tip is one you've heard it before. You hear it from me pretty much every single day. Prioritize protein and produce. Build your meals around high quality protein dense foods. We are talking beef, fish, chicken, turkey, eggs, shellfish, maybe some low fat dairy if you tolerate it well, and fill in with colorful fruits and veggies. These are foods without ingredients lists for the most part. The dairy might have like milk, salt, but really just simple foods. And always starting with the protein. So when eating this way is, first of all, it's going to be eliminating a lot of processed ingredients that could be causing bloat, digestive issues, discomfort. Your body is getting really nutrient dense foods. When you are prioritizing protein and really putting that protein first, making that the centerpiece of the meal, so to speak, that is going to make it so much easier for your body to build and maintain muscle. So you can be like lean and have that lean body mass. You're going to reduce cravings, better mood, better mental clarity, steady energy, all of the things. And you're filling in with the gorgeous, colorful fruits and veggies. I'm not saying these are the only things you were eating, but this is what you are absolutely prioritizing. Also, if you do need to lose some weight, eating this way is going to make it a lot easier to get into a calorie deficit, which is ultimately what's necessary to truly lose weight and to burn fat and lose weight for good instead of just dropping a couple pounds of water weight, which is what happens in a lot of cleanses, detoxes, things like that. I'm talking about sustainable, real weight loss. And then the second tip, and these really work together and are so important, cut the crappy processed carbs. When you eat dough, you look like dough, including your belly. So, and that's just a little tough love. But when I say cut the crappy processed carbs, it is what it is. Foods in packages with ingredients are not typically, with lots of ingredients, especially those you can't pronounce, are typically not doing you any favors. I'm not saying you can't have carbs, but I would again look to foods without ingredients lists. Things like baked white potatoes, sweet potatoes, butternut squash. But fruits and veggies are carbs. The starchier ones are going to be the ones higher in carbs. But that's where you want to be getting most of your carbs from rather than bread, pasta, dough. Even if the keto treats, the low carb treats, the healthy treats are still just that, treats. A cookie is still a cookie. There are actually some recipes, I'm going to, little shameless self-promotion here, in my cookbooks for cookies that are grain-free, sugar-free, high in protein, made with real food ingredients that aren't going to cause all types of bloating. But I still want you really building your meals around those no ingredient foods. So then number 3, which again goes along with these, banish the bloat. So most of us have foods that we know make us feel bloated and gassy. They could be healthy foods. Okay, I'm not available to be bloated and gassy ever. That's not how I want to live. So you need to really pay attention to this. And in some cases it could be dairy. So then dairy's not going to be one of your protein options, at least not on the regular. For me, cruciferous veggies, I have to be careful with. I need to really watch the quantity and the preparation. So even though broccoli, kale, cabbage, all those things are healthy and I love them, I watch the quantity, I watch the portions, I watch how they're prepared. Grains, super inflammatory for me, always make me bloated. So, again, I do not eat pasta, bread. I don't care how clean it is. I don't care that it's sourdough, sprouted, all those things. I just don't do it because it does make me bloated. I have trouble digesting this stuff. You need to know, you. And, but we're not available for being bloated and gassy. Along with this, I should mention, and I forgot to mention this in the live Q&A and stuff. If you are constipated, that's going to cause bloating too. Nobody wants to talk about it, but it's no fun. So something else that can help with that, certainly simplifying your diet can be very helpful. A magnesium supplement, especially taken before bed, a magnesium blend, preferably one that contains some magnesium citrate, that is going to help keep things moving. And if you do need a recommendation, I have a great one on Amazon from a really good brand, super reasonably priced. I take it every single night before bed. I have for years. I would not travel without this stuff. Let's put it that way. Tip number 4, hydrate between meals. So some really outdated weight loss advice that I hear a lot is like drink a lot of water, or other liquids with your meals to feel full. Okay, we don't want to feel full. We want to be satisfied. But at the end of the day, if you're drinking a lot of liquid with your food, first of all, you're tending to wash it down instead of honoring the digestive process, which involves really chewing. You're diluting those digestive juices, and you are also just causing bloat. You're just kind of putting too much down there at once. I'm not saying you can't have some sips with your meal, absolutely, but you don't need to be washing down your food. So it's great to hydrate when you first get up in the morning and kind of in between meals. And at any time, you don't need to be chugging water. Drink to thirst, sip, let the water, if you are drinking all the time and peeing all the time, the water is probably not even getting into your cells where you need it, and might not hurt to add some electrolytes or some high quality salt. That's a whole different conversation, but we want to make sure we are hydrating at a cellular level. And then last tip, number 5, and then we're going to go back and review these and talk about which ones are going to give you the fastest result. Planks are better than Spanx. And by Spanx, I mean shapewear. So holding a plank, just even a basic straight arm plank, getting into push-up position and holding it is such an amazing body weight move that is working your entire body, but especially your core, giving you that built-in shapewear. Crunches are great too. I do variations of planks and crunches every day, but for just a few minutes, and I have amazing, literally built-in shapewear at 58, 5 years post-menopause. So how to get flat abs fast? Well, those first 4 tips can work really fast. You can see a difference literally in 24 hours. It's not going to magically solve every problem, but as you are not chugging down the water, washing your food down with a lot of water, as you're cutting out those crappy processed carbs, you could see some initial inflammation and bloating go down very, very quickly. Of course, this is all going to get better with time. And then the planks, no, you're not going to see results in the first day or 2, but doing these 5 tips, if you do this stuff consistently, starting today, check back with me in a month because you are going to see a difference. If you do this stuff consistently, prioritizing the protein, cutting the crappy processed carbs, because remember, when you eat dough, you look like dough. Banish the bloat. Stop eating those foods that make you bloated and gassy. We're not available for that. Hydrate in between meals and start doing those planks. You could see a difference very quickly. And by the end of the month, you're really going to be seeing a difference. You're going to be well on your way. So drop any questions in the comments. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you find this information helpful. And I will see you again soon.